Hey, I'm Marcus.
And I'm Nick.
We are Working Class Nerds.
Cue the intro. That's right, we are Working Class Nerds, the podcast that gives you no information about your favorite information.
Today is Thursday, June 9th, 2022, and you can find this 155 podcast on Apple Podcasts, Buzzsprout, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, and anywhere you can find a podcast in the galaxy far, far away. You can also find every single episode of Working Class Nerds now on YouTube at MarcusB814. You can also watch me completely dominate video games Tuesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays at twitch.tv/MarcusB814.
And you can watch me play games every single night, Monday night at twitch.tv/NickVern51.
And you can find the both of us on Twitter. I am at MarcusB814.
And I'm at Nick Vern, that's NickVR. And in this week's episode, Max and Sema are back, and they've got some brand new content to talk about. They've launched a new podcast called Behind the Games. So, welcome back to the show, Max and Sema. And what have you two been up to?
Hey guys! Thanks
oh my gosh! What an
I feel
introduction!
like I gotta be really energetic when I talk and do my intro.
I don't know why I do. We're so hyped. Well, I like the intro to be super.
Oh,
hyped,
it's good.
Then,
it's good. You can put
the
some,
show
it's
just
awesome.
get some
Man,
energy going.
we're
It's your
chatting around the table.
personality. That's what it's all about, man.
Yeah, our shows are always like, "Hello, we just wanted to let you know a little bit about video games."
We don't really want to be
Yeah.
here, but
like,
we are.
like NPR. ours are like ours are like NPRs. So,
Right.
Sema, tell me about your recipe for
Sweaty balls.
sweaty.
Wasn't there like an SNL skit? It's like Pete Sweaty,
Yeah.
Sweaty
Yeah.
Balls or something like that.
So,
my God.
what have you been
Meatball
up to,
Company.
Sema? I'll let you go first, and then you can ask me,
Ah,
because I love
well, so I guess we're going to talk about Behind the Games separately.
Yes.
I've been doing a little bit of that, and games I've been playing are Star Wars: The Old Republic
Mhm.
and WoW Classic, believe it or not, which in other words,
Whoa,
the game
wow.
that came out 14 years ago.
that.
Having a really good time in there, just doing very old style stuff.
That's fun and exciting.
Also, for brand new games, Max and I played through a little bit of a game called We Were Here Forever, which is an escape room type game, but it's co-op, so we had to solve puzzles together. And
That's cool.
Max gets like kudos for not having to try to kill me because I was very slow on the uptake on some things.
I was
But,
gonna maybe take some of the video of that and like cut it in and like put like thought bubbles over it, like, no, I needed that key, send it back.
right. I'm sending you a key. No, I just sent you that key.
Oh, so you have to like go through the room and try to figure out how to get out. And
Yes, and like
Ah.
there's puzzles where like I had to move the round pieces into certain places and Max had to remove the square, and you can't solve the puzzle unless you can communicate with each other.
Yeah, and you can't see what the other
Oh.
person sees. They're like in a different part of it's
Yeah.
a 3D environment, but they're like
Yeah.
on, like across a chasm, and you can't see what they see. And
We're watching the trailer.
Yeah.
It was really
crazy.
fun.
Oh,
There was
yeah.
just one puzzle that just made no sense to me. So all I could do was answer questions, and eventually Max figured it out.
was that the door, the vault
Yeah.
door?
Yeah.
But we got
Yes.
we got through it.
Yep, we did.
And then the second vault door, which was even harder. We got through that.
Yep. But that
wow,
was
that's pretty
intense.
cool.
Yeah.
How many people can be in one escape room?
2.
Oh,
No more,
It
no
is
less.
meant for 2 people.
Whoa.
So this
and-
is the interview that we just did that went live today. And this studio was pretty bold in putting this out. In fact, they started as a student group and came up with this idea. And their professor was like, I don't know, you're going to like exclude a lot of people. You have to have voice. You have to have 2 people, no more, no less. Are you sure you guys want to do this? And it was 6 of them to start. And now they're a 25-person studio and doing awesome.
It's-
And
And this woman that we talked to is just an inspirational person.
she's super
I love her
cool.
so much. Yeah.
Lucia
Wow.
de Visser
Yeah.
from
Wow.
Rotterdam, Netherlands.
And they risked everything to start this company. They went without making any money or getting any pay for like a year to
Wow.
get their first game out.
Jeez.
How do you survive though?
I
I
know.
don't know.
They were college kids.
Yeah, well, they must have got a job doing
Ramen?
something. Making ramen or McDonald's or something just to like pay rent.
Some kind of something. You got to
Yeah.
eat.
Maybe a little bit of funding. They had some really cheap office rent. I mean, they did have an office, but it was like a basement office that they had to like go in through a back door. She tells the story in the
How
interview.
much is it on Steam?
How much is it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like this would be worth.
15
Go back.
bucks.
It's $50?
15.
15.
Oh, 15.
So
See, I'm gonna buy it just because
You got to buy 2 copies if you're going to play it with somebody. And she explains why you have to buy, each person has to buy one, and it's not like just a code to like a share code, which they don't do anymore on Steam. That's part of it. But
Wait,
but
there's
if
a
you want to get
series?
kind of a flavor for it, their original one that they wrote in college
it's free.
is on Steam for free.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. So get the original one.
Oh, we were here. We were here too. We were here together, and we were here forever.
Yeah. The latest one is We Were Here Forever. So that
And
one.
that's the one that's like
launched
got the modern
weeks ago.
graphics and the cool music and the
Mhm.
puzzles and everything. But I haven't looked at the original one, but I assume that it's kind of
They
I
made
would
it when
buy
they
the
were
new
in
one.
college.
Kind of
They made it in a
graphical
few
or-
months when they were in college.
Yeah.
But it was a hit, and it got hundreds of thousands of downloads on
Wow.
Steam just as a free, cool game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's got like 20,000 reviews, and they're all very positive.
They've got fans now, yeah. You know who I posted the tweet this morning that said the episode went live, and David Stats from BioWare replied back and said, "Oh, I love this series. Each one gets better and better." So it's out there. It's known.
That's very
It's
cool.
pretty cool.
Nick, we should buy that and play it one night on
And
stream.
That would
I was
be
just gonna
awesome.
say, do
I
like a
would-
dual stream or something.
I would actually pay money to see you guys play it.
Well, yeah, 'cause we're
$15.
idiots.
I'll pop.
Yeah, we're idiots. So it would be
No, you
comedy.
aren't.
Oh my
No, that's
God.
not. That is not what I meant.
Oh no,
I
that's
meant-
what
Oh.
I meant.
You didn't have to say it.
You did, yeah. Him and I are both thinking it. No, I think we should do that. We should do a let's play because, and like when we met Nick Irafino,
Yeah.
who made Norman's Night in the Cave, like we became friends and like I probably bought 15 copies of that game just to give it to people.
Yeah.
Because anytime there's an indie studio, like you were saying, they started out with nothing, and yeah, they have a 25-person studio now, but they're a small little company. And if I can help by supporting a $18 game,
Yeah, why
And
not?
have
happy
some
to do it.
fun. Yeah.
Hell yeah,
Yes.
it looks cool. Really cool.
and
I-
I'm infamous for spending $60 on a game that I play twice. So why can't I spend 17 and play the game twice?
Oh, I have every Mass Effect, and I haven't even taken them out of the box.
Oh my god.
I gotta go. Everybody, have a wonderful night. Like I'm out. Like that's just. I'm out.
Mass Effect 1 is a little slow, but Mass Effect 2 is amazing.
Mass Effect. Yeah.
Mass Effect 2 is your favorite game of all
It's
time.
it's not a judgment on the games. It's just that I haven't gotten to it.
Just
I
for
like
bought
Mass
them.
Effect 1 better, but that's just me.
What? Really?
Well, it's because it's more of an RPG.
He likes Phantom Menace
Yeah.
the best too.
And well, in fact, I don't even think I don't know if I yeah. I don't know if I finished Mass Effect 2. I got close to the end. It got grindy, and you had to like you're like
Yeah.
doing the planets and upgrading your ship, and go to another planet and upgrade to some more things, and go to it was like it got
Do
like
the mining. Yeah.
yeah, doing the mining and like come back tomorrow. This isn't an online game. There's no day and night. That started.
if I'm
that's
going to
started
grind, I want other people to know about it.
Yes, I want to
Right.
be able to show off my loot and wear giant shoulder pads that show how long I was grinding. That's what I do with games.
Or have a
Space
really
Barbie.
large sword.
Yes,
So Max, what have you been doing?
I have been podcasting and playing a bunch of games. So in addition to all of and I've been playing a lot of the AIE games. I've been in and out of Guild Wars and ESO and still dipping back into, and I log in periodically in basically everything.
Lost Ark some.
Yeah, Lost Ark. I don't think I did my daily login to Lost Ark. A lot of them have been relegated to just a daily login. New World
Yeah.
is a daily login. I'll log in just to check on the guild, see how things are, and usually like collect a little bit of like loot or mine something or collect the daily reward, because that can be contributed. Like for Guild Wars,
Yeah.
I'm in a spot where I get this stuff that's laying on the ground that shows up once a day that I can then contribute to the guild, and they make a guild thing out of it.
Yeah, there's a game you haven't logged in that for 3 years. I see your name.
Destiny.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, Destiny. You got a guild? Do we have a guild house? Do we have a guild ship?
No, you don't need one.
You don't. Yeah.
No,
You
I
just land on a
just
planet
go and I
and
just.
kill.
You just kill the bad man.
I mean, Destiny's cool, and I played Destiny a bunch at the beginning. And you play Destiny a bunch, you get a bunch of gear, and then your gear, then you take a break to go play something else. You come back, your gear is completely useless. You're back to square zero, and you could just do
Like
some more
anything
stuff.
else.
Yeah, kind of.
An expansion comes out in a game. There's new gear. No, I'm just busting butt. I took that opportunity.
Yeah, Mark's like, ooh, I can look that up. Hold on.
I can look that
well
up.
I
played.
could go lug into that. I've been playing some of the Nomad stuff though too. I've been playing V Rising.
Oh my God. I just heard about this game. So please tell everybody what it is, because it sounds wicked cool.
It
So-
does.
I set up a server, a new Overlord server. It's pinned in the AIE Discord in Nomads.
Uh-huh.
It's if you've ever played Valheim, it's like Valheim, but it's you never played Valheim?
No,
So
I didn't.
it's survival. It can be very PvP oriented. You can fight everybody else who's on there, but it's like a survival building adventure game where you get into the world and you're a vampire. So you can't be out in the daylight. You can only be out at night. You have to like collect resources that are on the ground. You use your little axe to like chop down a tree, and then you got some wood. You get some wood, some stone, and then you can start building a little fort or a castle and storage. And then now you've got storage where you can put your stuff. And then you build, each time you build another tier of equipment, like you outfit yourself, then you start building the machinery, like a forge and a wood mill and a tailoring station. Then you build yourself the next tier of gear. And also each tier you go up, the way they've got it done is slightly different than Valheim. Valheim only has 5-6 bosses you kill, and that's sort of the progression of the game. This has about 25 bosses.
Ooh.
And each boss you kill is how you get new abilities, new vampire abilities, new spells. So, but you need to gather up your gear, make your
And you have to
castle
drink the
bigger.
blood.
You slowly have to do all the progression that way to be able to kill the next boss, basically.
We're watching the trailer right now, and so basically you're living your inner Dracula.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
I
a-
watched
you're
him
a little
stream
vampire.
it for a little bit one night, and he definitely was living his inner vampire.
This looks cool.
I was careful to kind of not kill innocent people. There's like little townspeople and citizens in the beginning. Well, you don't get much for killing them either.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
by the end, I'm just like blasting everything. There's still a chance of like like some little resource that might drop off of them. So yeah, just kill them all, suck their blood.
And you can go out in the daytime, but you have to like be under the shade of trees or eaves.
Right.
Right.
You got
Or,
about 3 seconds in daylight before you start to take tons of damage.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you gotta if you like run from shadow to shadow, the third of the day cycle that lasts about 5 minutes.
I see it.
Yeah.
Then you
if you
you can
get
make
stuck in the sunlight, do you turn into a pile of ash like I
well,
envision?
it burns
happens
you.
to-
I mean, you catch on fire, and
I was going to say, in the trailer, you
burn
catch
up
on
in about
fire.
5 seconds. Yeah. So it's
Wow.
it's pretty violent when you burn.
Yeah, I was just talking to somebody about this game, and I was like, really? And he's like, yeah, it's actually really fun. He said it's hard, but once you, like anything, once you learn it, it gets a little easier.
Yeah. This looks really cool. It's not my
It is fun.
style
I'm
of
about-
game, but I can appreciate it for sure.
I'm about halfway through the progression, and it's gotten really hard. The couple bosses that I'm up against now, there's
Like
not
Elden
all that
Ring
much
hard?
more I can do. What's that?
Like Elden Ring hard?
Elden Ring hard? No. Not Elden Ring hard. I did play a little Elden Ring, a little bit, about this much. And then I was like, this is not a game for me.
Yeah.
I love it. It's beautiful. It's amazing. It's well done. But it's not a game for me because I don't have the time. If I had the time, if that was the only game I was going to play for 3 months, it would be great. Because then you could spend, yourself over and over killing a boss for 3 days.
Do you learn
And
all its
right.
moves and how to
Yeah.
do the dance
Learn
and all
its
that stuff?
moves and learn the muscle memory, learn your muscle memory on the keys and keyboard. But I can't do that because I play tons of
And I blame that on the MMO hook. Because you get the MMO hook where like it's hard to stop playing those MMO games because there's always something to do.
Mm-hmm.
If you're just playing single player games and they end, you know what I mean? You move on to the next one. Oh, I'm going to play The Witcher. Oh, I beat The Witcher. Okay. Even if it's 200 hours. Okay. Now we can move on to Assassin's Creed Odyssey and move on to the next thing. I know somebody that's been playing Elden Ring. They're 100 hours in and they're not even halfway done with the game.
Yep.
Yeah. I've gotten over being a completionist in any game. So I don't mind even playing an MMO like ESO. I keep dipping my toes back in ESO. I haven't completed the last couple expansions, but I get to be in there and play with them, getting in our mandatory fun nights every once in a while. And I don't mind that I'm not hooked on it in the way that is gonna kill me. Oh, I've been playing Diablo Immortal also.
How's that going?
Oh,
I've heard it's very microtransaction-y.
It is and it isn't. I haven't paid a single dollar. I haven't done any microtransactions, and I've been playing a ton. It is if you want to be like, so there's these guys that are streamers and they want to be the best on the server and they want to be the world first and best and the only way to over progress is to buy accelerators and stuff on the loot shop, buy gems and whatever.
Right.
So yeah, if that's how you're going to play it, the option is there for you to pay. I mean, they're going to make money somehow. It could have been a pure cosmetic cash shop, so you can be down on them for having any kind of pay to win,
right?
But if you just want to have something on an iPad that you can poke at, and it's a beautiful, beautiful iPad game. And it feels good. It feels like Diablo. I thought I would hate it on an iPad. You got to your left thumb wiggles around to move you. Your right thumb hits little abilities.
That's cool.
And I usually don't like any kind of action game on a phone or an iPad, and I like it. And I can play it wherever. And I'm up above level 40. I'm like 48, level 48 now. And I haven't paid a single dollar. Maybe I will want to someday. I doubt it. Because I probably won't play it all that much longer. I'm not going to start doing raids. I'm not going to get in a guild, a raiding guild, and it does start to get to that level if you want to, get up to the upper level.
So
progression, but
I've played it as well. Excuse me.
Yeah.
So it's fun. It is a lot more pay to win than Max is letting on. If you want, it is not possible to get the end game gear without paying. There is no chance of you getting all those legendary shards or whatever they call them without paying to play. But where Max is right is if you want to just play a Diablo experience and play the game, it's great. You don't have to pay a thing. You can go through and have a great time. It's 12.5 gigs on your phone. So if you have a small gig phone, like you don't have a lot of storage space, that's going to hurt. But the game is really fun. It plays really well. You know what I've been doing? I've been playing it on the Backbone, that controller that plugs into your phone.
Yeah.
It plays unbelievable. It plays just like the Switch. Or you could download it, use your Bluetooth and connect like an Xbox controller. Yes, you can do that. And it plays great. It's also on the PC. But what I like about it is it's one of those things where you can do like, I call it a zone, but like where you just go kill 50 enemies and then you walk into like another part of a zone and shut it off and walk away and you can come back to it. Yeah. Now I want to say I'm level 8. I'm not a big mobile gamer. For me, it's like not me.
When you're on vacation and your laptop dies.
But I wanted to try it, and I did. I watched Asmongold play it, and he has a money tracker at the top of his stream or at the bottom of his stream by his camera, and it shows how much money he's paying.
Okay.
And when I watched his last stream, it was at like $400.
Jesus.
Yeah, but he's doing it to prove a point and for the content, right? Because he's making millions a year. Like spending hundreds of dollars on a game is who cares. But I think the whole purpose of that game is for the Asian market, because in Asia, this is the way games are made. Yeah. It's all pay to win. Sure. You want to be the best, you pay, and that's just how those games are.
Yeah.
Pay to get to the top, and you grind. However, I would call it almost like a Diablo light. It feels a lot like Diablo 3 to me. Like Diablo 3, if you have a Switch, I should let you borrow Diablo 3 for the Switch. It's fantastic. Like I personally like Diablo on a controller better than I do the clicking to walk. And I don't know why. Maybe it's because I never played Diablo on a computer. The first time I ever played Diablo was on my Switch.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's why I like it on the computer. I mean, on the with a controller. But yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, it is.
I think for sure that's why I prefer to play on my PC, is because that's where I started.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean Diablo, I just mean every game.
And Diablo Immortal is not, in my view, is not good on the PC. You can play it, you can launch it. It feels like you take a cool mobile game and you put it in some janky emulator. Maybe they'll fix it up. It's sort of pre-release, it's beta on the PC.
Sure.
And I did not like it. And I was surprised. I figured I would just play it on the PC because that's how I like Diablo, and that would be great. And I did not like it. I stopped it immediately and went back to the iPad.
Wow.
Because the controls were janky and it was weird.
I'm eager to see where it goes 3 months from now. You know what I mean? That's I guess really for me, I want to see where it because anytime like New World, I remember when New World launched, everybody was playing it, and then 3 months later it was dead. Yep. Just same thing. Everybody wants to play Diablo Immortal. Doesn't everybody have phones? And then.
But how long are the games supposed to last?
I don't know.
It depends on the game, I suppose.
I mean, look at what's the Star Wars game? Oh shit. Galaxy of Heroes, is that it? Galaxy? Yep. Yeah, look at that. That's been going on for years. And they just keep adding characters to it.
Yes. And New World is going on too. But what you're describing is the 3 months where everyone's playing it.
Mm.
I mean, that's pretty standard that every game isn't the top.
No game survives that onslaught of launch without a big dip afterwards. No game.
Sure. No.
I mean, look at Lost Ark. Lost Ark was the biggest thing ever a month ago. And, a bunch of people, it's not nobody, but it's not nobody playing any of these games. You'll have a core that will persist. And if it's enough money to keep the servers running, then everybody got to get in and try it out and explore the lands and do some stuff and level up. And then, go off and do the next flavor of the month.
Yeah. Speaking of flavor of the month, Nick, what have you been up to?
So I've been playing on stream The Witcher 3, which I actually really, 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 really enjoy, which you definitely called.
Cool.
Does it feel like Skyrim in a way?
Not even remotely close.
What would you compare it to of the games that you've played?
It's closer to like Horizon Zero Dawn or Shadow of Mordor.
I was just going to say, or the Shadow of Mordor series.
Yeah.
How does it compare to watching the TV show?
It's not. Well, I mean, it's the same world, but it's not any of the same plot lines because it's way in the show is way in the past compared to the games.
Oh, okay.
The show is the show is like obviously right when Geralt meets Yennefer and stuff, and I think that's even before the first game, if I remember correctly. I didn't play the first game. I know this plot of the second game into the third, but I don't know. I know like the show is based on the books that the game is based off of.
Mm-hmm.
So, if I remember correctly,
I didn't realize that there was a timeline like that. I mean, I knew that there was a Witcher timeline, but I didn't realize the show was that much before the games.
Yeah, I think the show is off of like the first book, and I don't know where the first book translates to the first game. I don't know if it's exactly right or if the game picks up like a little bit after the book starts or something to that effect. But
and the books are different also. I mean, it's not even off the first book, because the first book was sort of like a short story anthology almost.
Okay.
Of Geralt going and so a couple of the things that happen in the first season happen in that book, but all the stuff with Ciri doesn't happen, I think, until like the second or third book that he published, when it becomes more of a novel. Yeah. The first book was more like a whole bunch of the Geralt fighting the monster of the moment stories.
Yeah,
sort of stitched together.
Mm-hmm. I should go read those books. I bet you that, or at least listen to them on audiobook or something. I bet you they'd be really good.
They're interesting.
Maybe connect you more. My question to you is: have you played The Witcher off stream yet?
No, but I wanted to twice. I just didn't have time. I
All
went
right.
and played paintball Wednesday instead. So
Nick, I judge Nick's.
I have it in my note. I'm finding I want to play it outside of stream, which is a great sign.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
my,
because
my
that's
judge
your
if I like the game.
go-to. If I call you and you're like, oh, dude, I'm playing The Witcher, that's when I know you're hooked on it.
Yeah.
Like Horizon Zero Dawn, you couldn't stop playing that game.
I really enjoyed that. That's my style, though. That's my style of game. And The Witcher, I'm really liking too. Like when I was in stream this week, I don't even think I did anything in the main story. I did all side quests, and I looked at the clock and it was like 10:26. Like, oh my god, I'm almost done with stream. It was crazy. Oh, and I realized that earlier in the week I realized that apparently, even though I have a 2-bedroom apartment with a kitchen and then like living room area, so I have a giant air conditioning unit in like the living room dining room section, and then apparently my microwave in the kitchen and air conditioner in the living room and also my computer are somehow all on the same breaker for the so I booted up my I had the AC going, my computer was on, and I had I microwaved something, and then all of a sudden all the lights went off and everything. I was like, how is that all one breaker? So anyways, I moved the microwave and all is good in the hood. But then I had to start stream late.
Definitely not be.
Yeah, the good old apartment.
Not even the
living,
microwave and the air conditioner shouldn't even be on the same circuit. But
exactly. Well, they're not now, but like it makes no sense that like an outlet in the kitchen and an outlet in the living room and an outlet in like a bedroom are all the same breaker. That makes no sense. But this building is also from like 1890 probably. So there's a section where like it's still like knob and tube like wiring for one of the switches.
No, there's none. It's just there.
Oh, okay.
It's all
not
all the wires are. They might be there, but they're not connected.
Yeah, just that one.
The shit would burn down if that was the case. You're just turning on your computer, and it would be like, nope, on fire.
All right. Oh, what's that burning smell? The wall. But anywho, so I'm playing The Witcher 3. I'm really enjoying it. I'm not super far in the game yet, but I did a lot of side quest stuff, and I'm finding the progression's pretty slow in terms of like gaining levels. I think I'm only level 2 still, and I did a lot of stuff. I feel like,
but that's good.
That is well,
good. If you're doing side quests, then side quests aren't giving you as much XP as the main story quest.
Oh, that's true, but like I was under leveled for a couple fights technically, so it's like, oh, you should be level 3. So I had to like drink the potions and get the oils for your blade and all that fun stuff.
Oil for the blade.
Yeah, but it's interesting. I'm enjoying it. I'm also playing a lot of paintball. I'm going to NXL Philly with the team. So
your team.
That
sounds serious.
Yeah, I play competitively. I'm in we play in 2 different tournament series. Local series,
cool,
at Matt's Outback in Connecticut, and then the national series is the NXL National X-Ball League. So which the next tournament for that is in Philadelphia next weekend.
I've heard there's a couple paintball arenas where they've taken Call of Duty maps and rebuilt it as a paintball arena. Have you played in any of those?
I have not.
Yeah, that's actually in Chicago. They have a Nuketown.
Nuketown map?
Yeah, Nuketown map.
That was cool. I would like to do that. That would be fun. But that's definitely recreational. But that'd be great though. That'd be wicked fun.
Yeah. I can't imagine.
I would know all this. I would like be jumping around the corners like it's Call of Duty.
Just getting annihilated.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I feel like it would just be mayhem.
Oh, of course. I feel like the windows in the 2 buildings on either end would be just full of people.
Yes.
Paintballs flying everywhere.
That's
great. So I'm playing a lot of paintball. They also Matt's Outback, the field I play at, is also offers Wednesday night like pickup paintball, which is cool. So like during the weekend, it's if you play on the airball fields that like I do, it's pretty organized and it's usually like a scrimmage format, but or like designated drills if you get there early and stuff. But on Wednesday nights, just pickup. So you're not with your team at all. There's pros will show up, which is cool, just for extra time during the week. From a couple different teams, which is great. And like you get a giant range of like skill level. So I play Division 3, which is like the middle of the skill level. It goes pro, semi-pro, Division 2, 3, 4, 5, beginner. I play Division 3, but there's pros there and there's people that like barely play paintball at all that just happen to work there. So it was cool to be able to like show people how to do things and like, oh, here's why you got shut off the break or whatever. But That's awesome. It's cool to be able to like play that much paintball. Then I've been watching a bunch of shows. Kenobi, I'm current on. I don't know if you all are watching the Obi-Wan Kenobi
Not
series.
not 4 yet.
I haven't
Not
watched 4 yet either.
Okay,
Tomorrow night.
I will not comment on episode 4. But what's the overall vibes? I don't want to get into this crazy too much because we're gonna do like a giant review later. But
I feel like I can't give my opinion because it involves
spoilers.
no. Yeah, well, it involves episode 4.
Okay.
In order to make my plot whole point,
Yeah.
it involves episode 4. I think when the show's over, we'll do a deep dive into it
Yeah, I would definitely like to.
because there's some things about it that are great
Yeah.
and some things about it that are meh for me.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
What do you think, Sema?
I'm reserving judgment. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine today where he was asking what's the point of this show when you know the outcome of everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I was saying, well, they have to make a point for it to be. They have to tell a story that
Right.
I get drawn into, that I want to know about. I mean, just like I said the same thing about the show Andor that's coming up.
Yeah.
I mean, we know the main characters in that all die, so it's the opposite.
Right.
So it's like, so what they have to do is they have to make Obi-Wan's journey interesting.
Right.
They have to make the stories compelling, even though we do know the long-range outcome.
I think they already are. I think you have to look at it less from what happens between the movies and don't I know this timeline as opposed to what's going on in Obi-Wan's head. This is his journey. This is a hero's journey involving where he's at in his headspace.
Right.
And it's complicated. And we never heard like how he got from this tragic situation at the end of episode 3 of the movie.
Execute Order 66.
Mm.
And him being the final duel with Anakin being like the real tragedy. That was like his brother. I mean, this is that like that broke him.
Yeah.
And then, we know him as Alec Guinness, as this wise old, guiding, he's the traditional hero's journey element for Luke that gives him the guidance and then dies, which is part of the hero's journey. But how, he starts the series. It's not really that much of a spoiler because it's the opening scene and then the trailers. He's broken.
Yeah.
So who cares? Who cares what happens? And that, sure, we get to A New Hope at the end, but where is he at? We could wallow in that for a little while. It's kind of interesting.
I actually have 2 points for this. First is Rogue One is one of my favorite Star Wars movies of all time.
Oh, there you go.
It's because of the way it ends. Like, I always wondered how did Leia get the Death Star plans? And if you haven't seen Rogue One yet, I don't even know why you're listening to the show. But like, but seriously, like, just how they finished that the whole thing was amazing. And seeing the Death Star as like what the Death Star was for and all those things. So for me, and then point 2 is there's a Legends book of Obi-Wan. It's not canon. And it talks about his time on Tatooine and like he gets connected with the Tusken Raiders. And there's a lot of different things that are happening to him in his head. And as much as they don't touch on that book in the show so far, it also
seems to tie in kind of.
Right. You feel for Obi-Wan because he's all alone. Like that's it. And when in the first episode of Obi-Wan, when he's just at his job, right? That's all I'm going to say. Like you feel for the guy that he's just a shmoo.
Right.
Like he went from the most badass mofo on the planet.
Kenobi.
Yeah. General Kenobi to
just a guy.
Oh, and can we just talk about, hello. Oh,
I have a lot of gripes with the writing.
Right, anyways,
but I would say, I think you make a valid point that like, hey, look, it's just broken Kenobi. We're seeing in his head, this is all gravy, right? That's true. But I think there's a lot of squandered potential, in my opinion. For like,
we'll see.
you could,
I haven't seen 4.
Right. Well, I mean, I think even through episode 3, I had this opinion. I've had this opinion. I felt it a little bit episodes 1 and 2, and then like after episode 3, I'm like, okay, I think I'm a little concerned with the series. But it's just like I don't care about the plot that's happening, and I think that didn't need to happen like that. Without like spoiling things, they could make all of the things that are happening much more compelling while still keeping the same overarching story. Like we know where this is going to end up,
maybe. I kind of see what you're saying there, but
I have one friend who feels like any show or movie or whatever is ruined as soon as they bring a kid in. So
well,
he's
that's
sort
not
of
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Nick.
Yeah.
But yeah, so for him, he's like, oh.
Well,
I actually really like that actress personally.
Yeah, I do too. I do too.
I think she's doing a really good job.
She's oddly compelling.
But something else that Sema said earlier about Andor, where I'm really looking forward to Andor, is a character that nobody knows. They met in Rogue One. You saw the end game of him. We know nothing about him. So any story they tell us is going to be amazing because we know nothing about the character.
Right.
We have known Obi-Wan since May 27th of 1977. So everybody has a different Star Wars in their head.
So that's kind of my thing about this show, Obi-Wan, is they have to make the story really compelling because otherwise the story didn't even need to be told.
Right. Except throwing all the fan favorites back in a show just to get subscriptions to Disney Plus.
Except
I mean, I don't know about that as criticism, right? Because that's what every type of show is for.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I don't know.
I'm not criticizing. That. I'm just saying that if they don't make the show good, it was a waste of bringing them back.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Now I get you. Yeah.
And it was just for subscriptions.
Right. Okay.
I think it's great. I also think it's doing something really unique where Boba Fett and Mandalorian were telling a different story in the Star Wars universe. Mm-hmm. This is basically a sequel to movie episode 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's back to that story, and it's a sequel to that story, which is hard. It's hard to fit in, but they kind of did it with, and it's Filoni. It's Filoni's magic. He kind of did it with Clone Wars. He kind of did it with Bad Batch. He kind of did it with, he's able to wiggle his way in between these stories and still tell a core story. Andor will be interesting. I think Andor is going to be something completely different because I feel like it's going to go again, be a story told in the Star Wars universe, but it's going to be about politics and intrigue and not lightsabers and
I'm going to watch that show because the droid in Rogue One is my favorite Star Wars droid.
K2SO?
Yeah.
K2SO.
He's a leaf on the wind.
Tudyk. Yeah.
Yes. All right.
Well, though I like the assassin droid in Mandalorian too.
I was going to say this. IG-88 is pretty cool too, but
don't self-destruct.
I know. Oh, I love that whole sequence. All right, real quick. Sorry, I'll zip through the rest of my section. Stranger Things season 4 is pretty epic. I don't know if y'all have watched that as well. We don't have to.
I have not.
I'm working through it.
It's epic.
It's very good. Especially if you like Stranger Things in general. I think this is my favorite season so far. It's got a nice balance of magically things and non-magically things.
Is it also kind of horror?
Oh yeah, I think this is like the scariest season in my opinion.
Okay.
But
I feel like in a show like this, it needs to every season it needs to get more intense until the final climax, and then they stop it for real, and then it's done.
Well, yeah, but I think Stranger Things is doing a good job of making the threats like change flavors.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
It's based off D&D.
Yeah, but it's like, and not even just the mystically threats, like the other stuff that happens. I think it changes flavors nicely, and like the kids aging makes like their other like real world problems change flavors too, which like keeps it all fresh.
Right. And because they're aging up, you can do more intense stories as well.
Right.
Kind of like how the Harry Potter movies sort of got a little bit darker, a little bit more violent as they went on.
Right.
Till the end when 11 is going to go full chaotic evil and kill everybody, and then that'll be the end of the series.
Right.
She kills everybody on planet Earth.
And then the Earth is the upside down. Yeah, she creates the regular reality.
Yeah.
And he wears my tinfoil hat. Anyways. Also, quick sidebar. I'm late on this game, but The Boys is another series I started watching because
I've not started watching the new season yet.
I've never seen any of it. I'm on season 1 right now, but that I'm obviously late to that game. But that show is really good too. Do you know the premise, Marcus?
Something different.
I can't. I don't watch a lot of TV.
No, I know you don't.
Like I watch Stranger Things and Star Wars, and
that's about it. Or Marvel shows, but like not always.
Yeah, I will usually wait. Like Loki, I waited until the season was like 2 episodes away from finishing to start.
Yeah,
I don't watch a lot of TV.
I get it. Yeah, I do like that's my like while I'm doing other stuff, I'll have it on. And then if I stop doing my chore to watch it, then I know I'm like really enjoying the show. But The Boys is wicked good.
It is out there. And you talk about escalation. When the very first episode starts with
what it starts with.
What it starts with, and it escalates from there.
I know. That show is crazy.
I see. I don't even know what season 3 or which season 3 is the current season, and I've heard it's just off the rails, and which I can't even imagine because season 2 was crazy.
Yeah,
so
I enjoy it. Basically, the quick premise is like, I don't know if I'm going to describe this properly, but I get like the vibe of the show is kind of similar to House of Cards. I feel like it's a lot of plotting and politics, but like the premise is, okay, you've got these superheroes exist, right? And they're all over the place, but they're controlled by this private company, Vought or whatever. And they're like essentially contracted out to cities to go save people in the specific cities or townships or something like that. Then you also have like,
but in a very PR way. I mean, some of it's
right.
like staged events. They go to shows and they they do rallies and
right.
It's
very
so
political.
It's as if Disney owned the rights to the actual X-Men in the X-Men universe.
Right.
And said, no, Wolverine, this weekend you're going to Milwaukee Fest, and you're going to get up on stage and you're going to wave your claws around and you make the crowd cheer. He's like, I got bad guys to go kill. No, this is part of the contract. This is what you do.
Right. And meanwhile, Wolverine's also got like some terrible habit that he also does on the side.
Yes. Right. They're all
yeah, exactly. All the heroes are secretly terrible people, which is cool in varying degrees, which makes the show
absolute
interesting.
Power corrupts. Absolutely.
Yeah. Exactly. But it's really interesting. I'm late on the game. Go check it out. It's on Amazon Prime Video. And Marcus, how's it going? What have you been up to?
So coming soon to a stream near you, you are going to see Nick get his ass kicked by me with the Golden Gun and GoldenEye remastered.
Oh, yes.
The game that we have been waiting for years is finally coming. I'm wearing my Nintendo 64 shirt just for the reason of talking about GoldenEye. I've wanted this for so long. And I could care less about the story. Whoever's Rare, I think Microsoft owns Rare, so I don't know what studio's doing it. But I'm going to tell you right now, nobody cares about the story. Just give us the multiplayer.
Yeah, of course. That's the only. I mean, you could do only the multiplayer, and that's what
I'm talking about. That's all I need.
Sure. Yeah,
you're done. Game over. Like rip that guy.
I think if I remember right, GoldenEye has weird controls. We're like,
it's good. They're going to update the controls to 2022. So it's like, they're not going to make everything inverted and like, because you had that Z button in the back of the
N64.
Yeah, it's going to be modern day controls. It's just going to be GoldenEye.
Great.
You're fucking toast.
No way.
Okay.
Wait, can you use what's the guy's name that throws his hat?
Odd Job.
Kung Lao.
Oddball.
Oh, Odd Job.
Odd Job. Sorry, thank you. Odd Job. Yeah. Are we using Odd Job or no?
No.
That was a no. You can't use Odd Job.
No, Odd Job. They should not even put him in the game.
No, you have to. But like you got to put in like the Konami code to use Odd Job.
The Konami code. So, also too, Sema, thank you. Sema got me hooked on this coffee subscription thing. I don't know how long ago. Maybe the last time you guys were on the show, or I don't know.
Yeah. I don't
maybe
remember when
the
it
last
was.
time I was on Escape Podcast. I don't know. It was a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Okay.
I am completely addicted to this coffee subscription. Let me tell you, the coffees that we get are so good that like now we're finding the coffees that we love and we're ordering an extra bag of them.
Yes.
Because we're like, oh my God, this coffee is amazing. And then I like Google the brand that they're saying, and they're like, this is like rated to the best coffee to make cold brew. So I order a pound of that.
Yeah.
It's like my house is jacked up on caffeine 24/7.
But it smells good.
Yeah.
And it's delicious. Like we bought a new coffee pot because like the Mr. Boston's $20 coffee pot just wasn't cutting it anymore. Like we have a real legit coffee pot now because the coffee is so good. And like, I don't like hot coffee, but I fucking love hot coffee now.
Huh.
Like love it.
That's great.
Yeah. So thank you. Anyways, stream has been amazing. I
Wait,
can't.
Wait, hold on. I got to go back. Did you say Mr. Coffee or Mr. You said Mr. Boston?
Oh yeah, that's Mr. Boston.
Mr. Boston is the bottom terrible vodka brand.
Yes, that's
around
yeah,
here.
Mr. Coffee. Yep, that's it. $23.99 for the pot at Target.
Okay.
Yeah, we did it upgrade. Anyways,
Stream's
been really fun. Clan night has been a lot of fun. We have a bunch of new people joining the clan playing. I feel like Destiny is a very much so like that side game that people love to play.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you love it, but like I feel like the Destiny community plays it a bunch, and then as soon as they hit max level or whatever it is, they go back to that other main game that they play.
Right.
That's
I
what I'm
see.
seeing. But for me, because I'm so new to it, like the opportunities are endless, and the way I play games in such a casual way that I'm doing it just to have fun. Like, I don't think I can ever nightmare raid again because of what it did to me.
like consistently.
Yeah, like it burned me out.
Yeah.
Like, and now even if I raid in Destiny, by the end of it, I'm like, ugh, I'm happy that's over. I enjoy it, but I could.
But you don't want to do that only.
I could not do it again.
Yeah.
But in the same breath, I am really excited for the new operation in SWTOR that's coming out. So I've been watching some people play it, and I'm really eager to do it when it comes out because I'm going in 306 gear in story mode, and hopefully there's bolster. If not, I'm going to die a lot, but that's up to the healers to keep me alive. There isn't bolster?
Not in R4.
For
R4
story
is like
mode?
when Duxon came out. You know, this is like the next
The
tier.
big leagues.
Yeah,
It starts at 326, I think, is the lowest of anything that it even drops. It goes up to
what's the
330 in
base gear
story
you
mode.
can buy? I don't even know. Can you buy 326 gear?
Yeah, you can go.
All right, so yeah, I'll be fine.
But it goes up to 340. The gear goes up to 340, which you can't get in the game yet. So
It goes up to 11.
It goes to 11. But I am really, really, really looking forward to that. I did log in the other day, and I just realized that you ever not play something for a while, when you come back, it looks like somebody's speaking gibberish.
Yes.
Right? That's what SWTOR looked like to me because it was so long since I logged in, and then I came in and I'm like, it's going to be okay, Marcus. It's going to be okay.
Understand what was happening.
But it is really nice to go in there and see that I'm still completed on Galactic Season 2. So I don't even have to think about that. There's
Nice.
that was done day one. But anyway, long story short, it is, I'm really looking forward to that. I've been playing a lot of Destiny, obviously. I'm telling you, I say it every week. If you love first-person shooters and you love MMOs, you're going to love Destiny. If you don't like MMOs, but you love first-person shooters, you're probably not going to like Destiny.
Not for like the long sustained periods of time.
Right.
Yeah. That's kind of like me. Like I like Destiny, but I don't like keep coming back to it.
Right.
I do. Obviously, I hopped in on Tuesday for clan night, but
yeah, that was just so you could shoot me in PvP.
Yeah.
Anyways, in AIE news, Star Wars: The Old Republic's mandatory fun night is the place to be Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern, in which, so we all know, the Eastern time zone is the correct time zone.
Yes. And if you're like, oh my God, what is mandatory fun night? That's where the fun is mandatory, but attendance is not.
And also, too, on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. is the Destiny 2 clan night. But if you really want to have fun, go to the SWTOR one. because our good friend BC, B Cavs, friend of the show, awesome dude, new dad, all of the above. He leads you through whatever will incur the most pain upon your characters.
And he does it with such aplomb. He's fantastic at it.
Great. He does such a great job.
Yeah, can we just herding cats is not easy. Okay.
No.
And when you go to mandatory fun night and there's 16 to 20 people, whatever, however many people, that's 12 to 20 different personalities. And I know that when I'm there, I'm usually typing /follow and I just follow the group like a little puppy. You know what I mean? Like, or a little duckling. Or I'll just get lost and I'll just stop and I'll look at the sky today. And I'll come back and I'll be gone. And BC will be like, Marcus, come find me. Marcus, you're not with the group. And you're like, oh, thanks, BC. I was doing something else, chewing on an Oreo cookie or something, you know?
Yeah.
And he does such a good job leading everybody and they have so much fun.
Whenever I follow anyone now, I'm just going to say that I'm duckling.
Yes. What are you doing? Duckling. Yep. Because that's
waddle, waddle.
Or penguining.
Although, in SWTOR, it's dangerous because sometimes the terrain kills you when you're on follow.
That bug is still in the game, so do it at your own risk. Die?
I mean, it's a traditional bug. We wouldn't want to get rid of it. It's history.
Well, hey, if all this sounds fun to you, go to aie-guild.org. Get our Discord information in the top right-hand corner of the website and ask for a guild invite. Whether or not you play Star Wars, The Old Republic, or any of the other games that we're talking about, we would love to have you.
Wait, you didn't go through Guild Wars 2, World of Warcraft, Elder Scrolls Online, V Rising, Valheim, Destiny 2, Diablo 3, Diablo Immortal, The Witcher 3, Pokemon, My Little Pony Online. You name it, we play it. We would love to have you.
Yes.
And Nick, do you have to pee?
I sure do. So we'll be right back.
Jeez, Nick, hurry up. We're trying to finish this podcast.
And we're back. So today we're talking about the new ventures of the new Overlords. So first things first, let's hear about it. Tell us about the big changes that y'all are working on.
Well, this all started when I decided to kind of make a pivot in my career. And it's what you would probably expect. I've been in enterprise consulting, doing software development, and then I worked at Microsoft for 13 years, and then I worked at another consultancy. I was a partner in a small org with another guy. We ran a consulting firm for a while, and then I worked at Accenture Avanade for another 11 years. I kind of retired. So in January, February, I kind of retired, and I still have all of those connections, and I'm still connected to all those people. But I got to the point where I said, hey, I could do something else and I could pivot, but what we're doing now, what we're going to talk about is more of a passion project than anything else. There's not even any monetization at this point. So I kind of retired. And then I said, if I was going to build something of my own, something that I could do forever for the rest of my life. One of the things that we really love to do is podcasts. Seema and I can't quit podcast. I mean, what are we, like 9 years in the SWTOR Escape podcast?
Yeah.
And still going strong on that. But we said, hey, should we add another podcast? And I ended up adding 2. We'll talk about the new Overlord stuff, but I added stuff on the business side too. I started a business channel and I've got all my business contacts and we're talking about emerging technology and the metaverse and 5G and artificial intelligence. And that's how that one goes. And I can still keep in contact with all of my business tech friends and go out to lunch with them and get them on the podcast and talk tech. So I still satisfy all that. And then New Overlords, we decided to expand. So we started a new show in New Overlords and sort of hitting it hard. We wanted to go big with it. The audience is small, but we wanted to do it video and audio. So Sema, why don't you describe the show and the vision, the mission statement?
Well, the first thing is, I'll start with that, which is that Behind the Games is really our chance to talk to people that have all kinds of roles in the gaming industry. And the idea is, what do they do? What is their day like? how did they get there, and how could someone else get there if they had that aspiration? Like if you wanted to be a game designer, we did, the first guy we talked to was a very senior game designer who worked on EverQuest 2 and other games, and his advice was to he was very inspirational. I won't boil down his advice. You should listen to the episode, but he was really an awesome person. But so we've talked to him, we've talked to marketing person, we've talked to a PR person, we've talked to we were talking about Total Mayhem Games, which was the escape room game. She was their chief operating officer or CEO. She was the head of the company.
Yeah.
Co-founder,
Co-founder,
her
now the
co-founder,
CEO.
and she calls herself it wasn't
Managing
CEO,
director.
Managing director, right?
Which is like of an LLC. That's typically what it's called.
Okay. But
We talked to Eduardo Weissman, who's a
which was
BAFTA-winning
really
senior audio designer for Ubisoft for all of the Far Cry series.
And what's amazing to me about all these people is they're fantastic people. Eduardo, you should hear his thoughts on the future of gaming, what he feels like the challenges are for the future of gaming. In fact, with all of them that we've asked that question of has had a unique and very interesting take on it. Right. And none of them so far have had something technical as the challenge. So
we said, is it all going to be in the metaverse, or is it, or NFT crypto games? Is that
or VR or yeah?
And from their perspective, a lot of people's perspective, it's no. What you got to think about is what do people, how do people interact, and how is that going to evolve? What kinds of stories do we want to tell? Eduardo is all about the stories and kind of the narrative of what a Far Cry game, and it really gave me a big appreciation for the Far Cry series. People, when you see a review of like Far Cry 6, people say, oh, the guns, blah, 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 and the combat, blah, blah, blah. When you play it or you understand what they did with that, you should be comparing it to a TV series.
Right.
And he said the amount of narrative and voice acting is equivalent to basically 2 seasons of a TV show.
Right.
But you play it. And what they did with that one, you play the part of a guerrilla underneath a dictatorship.
Right.
You're in that role, and they got people who lived that life for real to make that part of the game, and you feel it, and they put it into the sound and the choices you make and the environment and what happens, and then they've got A-list actors that are doing the voicing and the mocap for the lead roles too.
Right.
So it's a different thing. So everybody is talking about what their take is, and we ask that, but then we also ask what's their origin story, what's a day in the life, what do they do for fun, what's their game like. So we were talking about the We Were Here Forever game earlier. That was amazing. And then we go and play the games. So Sema and I playing We Were Here Forever. We still have to finish that up because it was pretty compelling.
And it's a good deal for the money because it's going to take several hours.
It looks very compelling. I want to go play it.
I'm going to circle back to your Far Cry 6 thing. We're no strangers to voice acting, right?
Right.
We played Star Wars: The Old Republic. It's the most voice acted game ever made. I'm pretty sure, still to this day. So I understand
that with the amount of content.
Yeah. I understand the amount that goes into it. I think for me, the hardest part is the game. Like I played Far Cry 1, Far Cry 2, and Far Cry 3. I didn't play any of the other ones because I was so hooked on an MMO, and I'm coming back to that MMO hook where when we saw Far Cry 6, I think we talked about it on the show. We were like, we need to play this game.
Yeah.
But when you're wrapped up or you're immersed in a game, it's really hard to stop playing that game to switch to go to another game.
Yeah.
Right.
Or, you know what I mean?
Any game that you have goals in, and that pretty much is the definition of MMO.
Right. And in audio in a game, I'll use another example. The audio engineers that make the games, it's unbelievable the things that they can do, because there's a game called Dead Space. That game's sound scared me so much that there's like 12 chapters. It took me a year to beat that game because I could only play it once a month to beat a chapter because the sound scared the shit out of me. Like them figuring out how to make sounds in 0G, and all you hear is your Darth Vader breathing in your mask. And then all of a sudden you can just hear, and it's a necromorph attacking you, floating in the air from behind you.
Yeah.
Or when you're playing a game like Far Cry that's an open world and you hear like a block away 7 machine guns shooting because there's a gang war going on, and you hear a car coming and you're like, oh shit, are they coming for me?
Right.
So like the amount of work that goes into these games is amazing. And you guys starting this podcast is so awesome because like my first reaction is, how the hell are you meeting these people?
Well, I was going to say.
That was my thought too. I'm like, man, those are some heavy hitting guests. That's awesome. Good for you guys.
That's Jeff's hard work and last minute pivoting too, because he decided at the last minute to go to PAX East.
Yes.
And that was a really good decision. And he made a lot of really golden contacts there, and had a chance to talk to people and had a sense for who was interesting. And
that was the big pivot that kind of really got it off the ground. And we're still following up on that list. Some like Eduardo, I got off of Twitter. I followed up and sort of contacted him, reached out to him. Lucia Terciops, the episode 3, and episode 2, with that studio, and Vicky. Those were all from PAX. So I went to PAX, and it was a lot of PAX is very indie dev these days. There's only like a couple big studios, and then everything else is indie devs. I talked to probably 25 studios, traded contact information, learned about their game, picked the top ones that I wanted to go after, and then I'm still going through the list. It's been fun, but it's also a ton of work. So it's to follow up with these people, to explain what we're doing, to get in contact with them. We always have a prep call with them to introduce ourselves and then schedule out the actual interview. And I'm doing the same thing on the business side. I'm busier than when I was fully employed.
I can imagine.
Well, and too, I'm sure time zones are a big thing too, because when we met Nick Irafino, that's how we met Nick from Norman's Night in the Cave. We were at PAX East, and they had cushy chairs, and Nick and I walked around all day, and we were like, "Oh, look at there's a new game. Let's sit down and play."
Exercise balls as chairs.
Yeah, they were. They were exercise balls.
There's a bowling ball in the game mechanic, so they put different colored exercise balls, to symbolize the bowling ball.
Right, and we sat down and we ended up playing the game for like an hour, and so I understand. You get sucked into a game and then you start talking to the devs, and they're indies and they want to talk to you.
Right.
So what's the name of the business podcast?
The business podcast is called Unevenly Distributed. And that comes from a William Gibson quote from about 2005, where he said, "The future's already here. It's just not evenly distributed." So it's about future tech. It's about business tech. The first episode of that was with the co-founder of the 5G Open Innovation Lab that Microsoft and Verizon and a few other companies run. I kind of viewed
it as like a 5G think tank.
Yeah, it's kind of 5G think tank, and they've got 70 startups that are part of it. So I interviewed him all about 5G, and he and I had worked together before. So that was 5G. So it's split between either a deep dive, not a deep dive, but it's not super technical. It's more for business people, and us, that just want to hear about a technology. Hour-long episodes. Mm-hmm. So either a tech topic like 5G or metaverse was episode 3. There's only been 3 episodes so far. Next one's coming out next Thursday. Or it's about emerging tech, leading edge tech in a particular industry. So episode 2 was, tell me about new technology for the education market. And it's a colleague of mine who works at Google now. He's the Google lead for education, for setting up education customers, both university and pre-K to K through 12. So we said, well, what's going on there? What are the big problems that tech is helping to solve? During the pandemic, everybody was at home and trying to do school from home. So what's the real challenge? We've got, classes on Zoom. So we talk all about that for an hour.
I'm actually interested in that because I always wonder if that is the future. If remote learning long term is going to be the way of the future with AR, augmented reality, and all those things. Is it going to be more of kids sitting in your house, going to school and putting on the VR headset and doing schoolwork, learning that way? Because think about how much money they'll save by not having schools and all those things. Or is school always going to be school?
It's an interesting question. And we kind of answer bits of that question in at least 3 of the episodes so far. So definitely in the education one, but the metaverse question, we talked about it a little bit there. And then I did an interview today about financial services banks. What's going on with banks? How are they going to use technology? But we circled back around to VR and how is it used to teach people things and immerse people in environments? Is that going to be used for, financial services, but it's also going to be used for us to learn in the future. Yeah. All of those kinds of questions are fun to just talk to experts on.
So I, believe it or not, a lot of people don't go to the bank, but because of my business, I go to the bank all the time. And a branch today, I was out of my normal circle of banks and I went to my bank to make a deposit and I pulled up and I pushed the button and I sent the thing in. And I typed in and then the screen comes on and it's the teller. I sent in the stuff and all the stuff was there and they processed my whole transaction and the teller was 30 miles away.
Huh.
And
that's interesting.
And it just blew my mind. So yeah, my big question for you guys is how did you rope Sema into doing another podcast?
I don't think it was
gave
very
you
hard.
The option. You tell me, because I said, "Are you sure you want to do this?" And she's like, "Yeah, let's do it."
Yeah, absolutely. Why wouldn't
That's awesome.
I want to?
Sure.
Yeah. So it's been good.
But just to be clear, I have no role in the business one. That's just Jeff.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So
I was gonna say
it's really hard.
It is. I was gonna say if Marcus asked me to do another podcast, I'd be like, dude, with what time?
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
the
real big
ahead.
time sink for these 2 new shows is they're a podcast, so there's the whole audio part, but that's only I'd say 15% of the effort. They're also a video that goes along with it.
Yeah.
And I record the camera separately, 2 separate scenes. I cut in B-roll. I process both the audio and the video. I set up my studio. So I've got, the camera, I do color correction. And then, when I edit it, I'm changing camera angles. And, and if we're talking about like a game, I'll cut in the trailer and, I've made a custom backgrounds and that it takes.
He's much busier than when he had
forever.
a job.
Seriously, it takes me like 8 hours of video editing and processing and setup and cutting of everything to get through that for each episode.
I can't even imagine how much work it is.
Yeah.
That's
why we don't do video for this show.
Right. No. But what I'm saying is
this isn't going to go on video?
No.
I thought you said you're on YouTube.
Well, we do. So all we do is we put our logo kind of like Sema's logo with like the OBS
here
thing.
I'm like putting I got my shirt on. I'm staring at the camera. I'm like making sure I'm making eye contact this whole time. Man.
All we do. We just
I'm gonna
share.
Kick back, put my feet up.
All we do is share.
But hold on. Time out. I blame Marcus for that. Yeah, this is not. We're recording the audio, not the video. It's just showing the video.
Shirt's coming off.
All right. Well, you know why I do it? Because if the podcast becomes too much of a job, we won't do it.
Right.
Yes.
And when we switched to Zencaster, like for the beginning of Zencaster, we didn't even share the audio, and then they released.
You mean share the video?
Show the video.
Yep.
They didn't give the option, but now you can do show video, record audio only, and it's perfect. So we can all see each other, give each other virtual high fives.
It's like a FaceTime.
It's like a FaceTime
or Zoom call, whatever you want to think about.
But I have hired a video editor Greenbot Videos. They upload our stuff to YouTube. They make shorts for me. They do all my videos for YouTube because I personally don't have time to do it, but I want to do it and I want to grow. And I know that YouTube is the future for streaming and everything, because once you post a video on, that video could get no traction for a year, and all of a sudden somebody finds it and it finds the algorithm and it just blows up. The video doesn't go away. And
So this person that you hired, he makes your shorts?
yes.
I mean, is that instead of pants or?
All he knows how to make is pink shorts.
Again, when there's no video, it doesn't really matter what they're wearing below the waist there. So
That's a good point.
Yeah, that's true.
You can't even tell what I'm wearing. Although I got up to go to the bathroom and you saw it on video. So never mind, my joke is ruined.
What would you say the hardest part of making the switch has been?
Nothing for it's a bunch of extra work doing the video stuff, and it's a bunch of extra work getting the interviews lined up. But Sema and I have been doing this for
I think
9 years now.
The work that Jeff does with the post interview stuff, I think over time will get better and easier.
If it doesn't, I'll do something different because it's a little ridiculous right now.
I think what's going to be hard to keep up is all the emails to get people and to nailed on times and back and forth. And
that's another thing we'll have to see if it gets easier or not, or if that has to pivot as well.
So what I will say is the other thing is, and I'm not a part of the behind the games, but the other thing is behind the games, you could talk to a Twitch streamer and because they're playing the games, but they're also doing it for something else.
You're a content creator.
You're right. Content creator. You could find a YouTuber. You could talk with a, so it doesn't always, in my opinion, it doesn't always have to be a game dev.
We've got,
what I mean?
We've got plans if we wanted to cycle or cut back or do like every other show or get a series of interviews, but not do every episode as an interview. Those kinds of ideas are great. We love talking to people though. I mean, part of the inspiration for Behind the Games was also the interview we did with Chris Schmidt and the interview we did with Daniel Steed, the BioWare interviews. Those were SWTOR Escape podcasts last year before we ever did this. And it was just so fun. We said we would love it if we could make a whole show out of doing those and have one every week. We'll see. We're probably going to have to skip weeks here and there as the schedule of people's time comes and goes. We'll see where that ends up. And
there's another wrinkle too with the scheduling, because sometimes you want to talk to somebody, but they have to get approvals on their side.
Oh,
and then those people's calendars come into play.
Right. The bigger studios, especially. And with Eduardo, Carolyn, the PR internal marketing person, she was awesome. But
Ubisoft was so responsive.
Yeah, but she was definitely closely involved, and we worked with her, and they got approval. And then the episode afterwards, we sent it to them. I've got another episode for next week that may not come out next week, depending on when I get it edited up, hopefully tomorrow, if they have enough time to review it with the PR firm that we interviewed.
Yeah, because Jeff won't publish it if they don't okay it.
Right. You got
to be really careful with that.
Yeah.
Well, after the show, I have some contacts for you. I'll hook you up.
Cool.
Nick, ask a very important question.
Okay.
And just so you know, there's only one wrong answer.
Yeah, there's plenty of right answers, but there's only one wrong answer, and we're completely judging your entire character.
Pancakes.
Based on your answer.
I'm going to try for the wrong answer. I'm going to work very hard.
All right. So the question is, what is your favorite ice cream flavor?
You go, Sema.
I mean, there's only one ice cream that I don't like.
Okay.
And I made it myself. It was a chocolate mint ice cream, but I put too much mint in it, and it tasted like toothpaste.
Toothpaste
It was terrible. I was crying but I had to throw it away like in the garbage. So anyway, I'm a
Yeah.
fan of ice cream. So if I had to pick I think though I like coffee ice cream and chocolate ice cream.
Ooh,
Okay.
coffee's good.
Very respectable. I understand.
Yeah, it's tough for me to pick a favorite. I'm a fan of the complexity. People think vanilla is crappy and too vanilla.
Too bland.
Vanilla is like an amazing.
Yeah, it is. It's an amazing flavor.
Yeah, and I mean the vanilla bean itself, which comes from an orchid type plant, which is super hard to grow and very complicated. You talk to a chef, and they'll go on and on for days talking about vanilla. I like green tea ice cream.
Wow!
So that that's you get that.
Yep. I've had that too.
That I really like that.
I've also made vanilla extract, and it's better than anything in the store. It was awesome. So yes, vanilla. I agree with you about vanilla.
Yeah, vanilla's
two wrong answers.
Yeah, I mean,
there might be two wrong answers. Green tea got Marcus. I feel like that would be good. I can wrap my head around that.
I cannot.
I don't think that's nearly as bad as the wrong answer.
You want us to tell you what the wrong answer is?
Sure.
Pistachio.
I wouldn't put pistachio on my list.
Green tea is very close to pistachio because it's the same color.
It's also green. Pistachio is good. What's wrong with pistachio? It's like
pistachio's fine, but what kind of sociopath says pistachio is my favorite
ice cream?
And of the whole board, all millions of flavors in the whole galaxy of ice cream flavors, you're picking pistachio.
That's like
your
an old
number
man.
one.
That's like an old man favorite ice cream. My favorite ice cream is pistachio.
Old man is maple walnut. Okay,
right.
Yeah,
that was our grandmother's favorite ice cream flavors.
Butterscotch Werther's flavored ice cream.
Werther's. Yeah.
I agree with you. My favorite ice cream is vanilla. It goes with everything, no matter what you do to it. Yeah. It's amazing, just straight up. Yeah. But
I like vanilla. Vanilla is really good. I think my favorite is off the shelf is salted caramel core from Ben & Jerry's. That's really good because I'm allergic to chocolate, so it limits my ice cream options. Well, so I got I have to be careful with what ice cream flavors I pick. So yeah, that's really good because it's got like chunks of like blondies in it, which is really awesome. So you get like
know what a blondie is.
It's a brownie with no chocolate, and it's like I don't know, cake batter essentially, but it's really good. And
or
then
like cookie batter, yeah,
cookie batter. And then my other favorite, like in existence, is this place in Wells, Maine called Scoop Deck. Makes a blueberry crumble ice cream that's incredible because they make it with like real Maine blueberries. It's fantastic.
Yeah, now you're getting super fancy.
Yeah. Also, their portions are enormous. So like their single scoop, all of their scoops are like softball sized. So it's like a large ice cream is their small. So it's like
so if you get a large, you're getting a half
size
gallon.
of my head.
Three
large. If I go to Scoop Deck, now I know to get one scoop.
Yeah, one scoop is a ridiculous amount of ice cream, especially in a waffle cone. Though, so like you get a waffle cone, the cone is full before they start like accounting for the amount of ice cream they're giving you.
Sounds like a good ice cream place.
Oh, it's fantastic. And the ice cream is all homemade. It's unbelievable. But like the whole cone is filled, and then they put the softball on top as the size. So like a kitty ice cream, the cone is full, and then the half softball, and then the single is cone full, and then whatever. A large, I think, is 3 scoops, which is 3 softballs.
That's diabetes flavored.
100% diabetes flavored.
So tell us what's been going on with the SWTOR Escape podcast.
Yeah. Well, now that I've got the studio, it's only changed visually a little bit because I take advantage of the studio. So
yes, we
go live from inside the studio. I do it in this view that you're seeing here that no one else is seeing. So
I was gonna say,
but I set up. I picked the color for you guys. I picked my outfit.
I know this is all so nicely coordinated.
I'll use
everybody
it
listening. Max looks fantastic.
I'm deflecting.
I would take
all
him
of the
out
guilt.
On a date if he was with us right now.
You'll see it tonight. You'll see it on this week's episode of the SWTOR Escape podcast. But no, that one's still going strong. We've got what? So today we finally have an update on the PTS that we get to play, which came out 5 minutes after last week's episode.
That's
we couldn't talk about it last week. But yeah, that's been a lot of fun. And we like to stay connected there. And we're hoping to continue to do more BioWare interviews and put that on both the SWTOR Escape podcast and the new Behind the Games podcast. I think that would be really cool.
Speaking of the new studio, could you explain what you upgraded or like what you have for a setup? I should say, like your camera and what lighting you chose. Because I noticed I pulled up your business podcast on YouTube real quick.
Yeah.
And I saw the lighting's totally different. So you must have, I'm assuming it's bulbs that change color or something.
Change
right?
it, yeah. So I've got what's called practical lighting. So the two lights behind me that are hanging up are just for background effect. They don't light up anything. And they're sort of like Edison bulbs. I do have 2 sets of those, and I switch those out manually. I have a white set that's for the business side, and then I have a yellow amber set that's for this. But then behind me, behind my chair, is a light. So the wall behind me is charcoal. It's like charcoal black.
Yeah. Oh. Okay.
But the charcoal, because it's got a little bit of gray on it, it does pick up light. And then there's a studio light behind me that is an LED, RGB LED, and I can change it. I can tune it. So you didn't see this earlier.
It's currently red, but like for business, it's blue.
Oh, I see.
So there, I can go to purple. I can go to blue. So for the business one, I usually make it just more subdued. I change the lights to white. So the white balance is a little bit more flat. And then I've got a Sony A7 4K mirrorless camera, and I record in 4K off the camera, and then I still have the Shure mic plugged into a preamp into the mixing board, and then I've got multiple screens and a teleprompter, so I can put the person I'm talking to up on the teleprompter, and I can look straight at their face and straight at their eyes, or I can put notes up there and talk to it, and not be like looking down when I'm trying to interview. So if you look at the business podcast or the Behind the Games, I'm always looking at the camera because I can. And then I've got 3 more studio lights that are around. Like the one over here is 2.5 feet wide, and it's a big, giant light with a honeycomb on it. Sort of that big soft light. But
it's
yeah,
amazing.
so that's the kind of setup. I think I put some pictures of it somewhere, but I didn't show that.
I'm always curious about that. Like I know, the fanciest I got is a ring light in front of me here, but not that I'm trying overly hard. But it's all interesting. That type of setup is interesting to me. Like getting the lighting correct like that to make the most out of your camera and things like that.
What's interesting is your first thing is the lighting. Yeah. My first thing is the sound, because if you stop and just like listen, hearing that little tiny hum drives me crazy.
Well, yeah, that's because my mixer's too close.
No, not here. I'm saying even at my own house. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like audio is a bitch.
Yeah, audio's a no.
To get right.
Anything. It's once you start, the more you learn, the more irritated you get by it's never things. Enough. It's never good enough.
Yeah.
So I reprocess my audio constantly. I tweak it. I get separate tracks out of Riverside when I do my recordings, or even when I record the podcast, I'm getting separate tracks in Audition. I process each of those separate tracks. And now I'm starting to do the same with video, where I'm getting into, 10-bit and lookup table, LUTs on the video quality, and tuning for skin colors and white balance and high dynamic range, and it's never good enough. I have multiple lenses for this camera, so and I've got the bokeh effect because I've got I've set the aperture to what I need it to be. It makes you crazy. You got to stop at some point. You got to
what's interesting to me is Riverside is basically the Zencastr software, or
it's similar.
They're like, it's similar stuff. I'm looking at it right now. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah. In fact, I could have picked Zencastr. Ended up picking Riverside. Just it was, I looked at a bunch of reviews when I was going through it, and just ended up with that one.
That's awesome. But no, it's basically the same thing.
Right.
Same kind of software. That's awesome.
Very cool.
I would say, the best part about these is, when we first started, it was Audacity. You know what I mean? And you're recording separate tracks. And now recording like this is just so easy.
Yeah.
And anybody can do it.
Much easier to process, much easier to mix.
Right.
All right, I have one more studio question.
Yeah.
Do you change out the
Yes,
decor behind
he
you?
does.
I just
bit.
noticed that
Oh yeah, look at that.
it's like an I Spy book, like Find the Difference.
Well,
Yeah, like
you don't have your
yeah, he's got the Diablo box here, but that one is a Windows box.
right Microsoft, or like you're missing the helmet. The
that Microsoft box is Windows 1.0.
Wow.
So that
That's really
Microsoft
cool.
box is from the late 80s.
Wow.
So that is a cool one. I've got my Commodore 64 back there, and then yes, I take the
Oh, yeah.
helmet, the
Rebel
How do you
Alliance
describe it?
helmet?
It's like a Rebel Alliance pilot helmet.
yeah, Rebel Alliance pilot helmet. I swapped that out, and I've got some cool old computing devices I put up there. I've got a Zune 1.0 that I put on
Oh,
the
is that
shelf
what
and
that
see
is?
if anybody knows what it is and notices it. That kind of thing. Sometimes I'll
Should
just
put a BlackBerry somewhere.
I'll
I thought it was a
grab a
BlackBerry.
thing and just hold it in my hands and play with it while I'm talking to somebody for the SWTOR podcast and see if people
Yeah.
guess what it is.
That's funny.
so yeah.
Zune. I forgot about those.
Little tweaks, little differences here and there. Give it a little
That's
character.
fun.
Make them a little different.
Of course.
So what's the next step for behind the games?
I think it's just to keep doing what we're doing, but make it simpler. I mean, I gotta make it easier to edit. Got to make it and then smooth the pipeline of.
Gotta be
getting
more
people on the
scalable so
show.
we can go on for as long as we've done this skate podcast.
If not, it could end up just as seasons. Also, we could put out a season of 12 episodes and then take a break for a couple months and then get another season of 12 episodes. We could do that kind of thing too. But
Well, that's smart. I hadn't
So
thought of
we'll see how that can sort of smooth itself out. And if it does, then if we get it down, then it'll be in good shape.
But
Depending on
if
the business
people listening would go to the YouTube channel and subscribe, that would help because
Yes.
not that we're monetizing it, but that if it with a little bit of growth, we
That
can
is the
attract more
goals.
people, get more content. Yeah.
It makes things easier. And each week I'm now adding another social network too. So I've got a Facebook page. Hey,
What's the
heard about this?
YouTube? New Overlords?
Yeah, YouTube/New Overlords will get you there. And then Facebook/New Overlords is brand new this week and hasn't even really been barely been launched.
Well, you're almost at the 1K subscribers, so
Yeah.
as soon as you get at 1,000 watch hours, you'll be able to monetize yourself.
And then Instagram. So New Overlords is on Instagram. It's mostly just been me posting episodes. That's been up for a little while. So each week I'm adding another social network, it seems to, and then going to be doing the same on the business side. The business website is Nexavise, Nexavise, and that's where all the links are posted. And then there's a YouTube channel for that, and the all the podcast directories. Because that one doesn't even have YouTube doesn't even give you a name until you get like 100 subscribers.
Right.
So that one right now is like YouTube /1679XZ53652.
So what I will ask you to do is the nerds community is always down to help. So if you can go in our Discord and put it in the self-promote and link your two sites, we'll make sure we ping everybody because everybody will definitely support you guys because
Thanks, Marcus.
that's what we do. Yeah,
Thanks,
that's
guys.
what we do.
Thanks,
We've
nerds.
gotten we want to help everybody reach affiliate on Twitch or whatever your goals are. That's our goal, is to help you guys get there.
That's cool. That's really cool. And it's a passion project. It's something we love to do. So I haven't been too, I don't want to I don't want to invade other spaces very much. So
100% disagree. You guys do so much for the community, whether it's the greater AIE community with the SWTOR Skate podcast, which you guys do for everybody week in and week out. We are all going to be happy to help you in your endeavors. 100%.
Okay.
And
that's really cool.
Well, for us, and I will actually say that about anybody, you posting your links in somebody else's Discord is what the self-promote channels are for. And use them because, you say we're not monetized today, but like someday you could be. And the only way you do that is to get some traction and have people help you. And there are plenty of people out there that love you guys that are going to want to help you.
Exactly.
And subscribe if it's fun. Subscribe if you like it, and only if you like it. This is interesting stuff. Go get out there, check it out.
Don't listen to him. Everybody
Let us
listening, do not listen to
Let us know what you want. Let us know who
Smash the
we
subscribe
should
button.
interview.
Smash it.
Yeah.
Don't just push it. Smash it.
The Witcher. I'll go call up that studio because Nick's playing The Witcher and say, hey, we got to interview you guys and find out about the studio and where this game came from. We'll do
CD
that.
Projekt Red. And why did Cyberpunk suck so bad? No, I'm just
I
kidding.
love Cyberpunk 2077. I thought it was
I have to
fine
revisit
when it came out. I think it's a great game. It's one of the few single player RPGs that I played all the way through and loved it every minute of it. I played it on PC, not on a console, which was a big difference. So I would interview them and I would tell them how much I loved it. So maybe that'd be a big different, a different interview for them. They'd be
what they're used
surprised.
to.
What are you talking about? What do you mean you liked it? You're supposed to tear us a new one. This is what the interviews are.
I really want to play. I really do want to play it. I think somebody just got it on the PC for $5.
I know.
Like, how do you not buy that game for $5?
It is so good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, on PC.
I just think people can't be happy, so people want to just give bad reviews because there's a couple bugs.
I guess. Well, supposedly it was. Some people it was like they couldn't even play.
Yeah, they're people.
It should have never been released on the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One.
Right.
Yeah.
That was a mistake.
But anyways, back at the ranch, I'm definitely gonna play Cyberpunk after I finish The Witcher 3. But I want to ask, what has been your favorite moment, both of you, up to today for
anything
in the anything?
And then in the new Overlords journey from day one to today, what has been your favorite moment?
Ooh, okay.
Huh.
Asking
what are you
the
gonna
hard
say?
questions, I say.
Yes.
Because Sema, what did you say last week? The last interview we did, every time we do a new interview, that's her new favorite interview. So.
Yeah, I did say that.
Yeah.
Well, if we're gonna go with behind the games, I have to say Lucia from Total Mayhem Games. She was absolutely inspirational,
so cool.
and she's like my new idol. And that's coming on top of Eduardo Weissman, who was my idol the week before. He's awesome. He's really awesome. But Lucia, she had so many things to say about how to run a company, as well as, living your best life. And it was very, recommend her.
What about your favorite moment of all time?
In
dating
gaming?
back 9 years with New Overlord. And just the podcast and being connected and all that stuff.
I think it was the first time I was ever on Working Class Nerds.
Stop. Get out of here.
It really was transformative.
Well played, Max. Well played.
We did. I mean, we've done joint episodes together. There's been some good stuff that we've done.
I think it was when I said, "Oh shit," on the air.
Yes. Still to this day, that has to be like. I wish I knew I regret not finding that.
So do I. And I have tried. I've gone back through. I should take the audio. I had to do this for my other podcast. So I screwed something up today. I took the entire audio track and I had to put it through a transcription service online because I had to do some searching and re-recording some things. I should take every episode we've ever done and get them transcribed and then do Control F search to find shit.
I also thought about, on my end is take one of my Optilla codes and put a challenge out to the SWTOR community. If they can find the moment where Sema says, "Oh shit," I'll give them an Optilla of the Opal Voptilla.
Yeah,
because I need that audio. Because I would even make that our break sound that Sema just goes, "Oh shit," and then Holly Fields goes, "Geez, Nick, hurry up! I'm trying to finish this podcast."
That would be awesome.
Okay, maybe we'll do the same thing, and we'll see who can find it first, or they get
somebody will.
Or whatever.
Someone will find it.
All right. Now, my favorite question: who is your favorite Star Wars character?
This time, there's no wrong answer.
I thought about this a little bit, and I have many, But today I
Okay.
decided to pick Major Henri from the
Old
OSA
Republic?
story. Yeah.
Okay.
And the reason I like her is because she's, well, first of all, obviously a strong female character, but also she's a part of the Empire, but she's figured out how to be herself, even though she has like these power mad Sith people around her, and the sort of machinations of the agent guys, and that all they're doing, and then but she's just doing her job and making things better.
That's a good
And
one.
she's very
She's a good one.
she's very no nonsense about it all. So
That
I
is
like
a
her.
good one.
It's a good
This-
answer. I like it.
This is tough. It's like picking your favorite kid. And I do have one, by the
I
way.
know Max's favorite character.
Do you? Well, I would like of movies of the movie universe. I would probably say it's Obi-Wan Kenobi. Especially during the first 3 movies. What I love about Obi-Wan as a character was the relentless positivity, which is why it's so tragic to sort of see where he's at now. But it was, him dropping into a room full of enemies, overwhelmed, ready to die for what he needs to do, and saying, "Hello there."
Hello there.
Right.
That was awesome. So who would you say? Are you thinking of like Old Republic? Who are you going to say for Old Republic? Nico Okar?
No, Darth Malgus.
Of evil characters, Darth Malgus is definitely my favorite.
Okay.
Yeah. Of the antagonists, Darth Malgus is number 1. Number 2 is Darth Maul, because he didn't like the lack of dialogue. Just him flying in episode 1, flying in on the speeder, jumping off, igniting his lightsaber, and going to town. No monologuing. No, I'm here to kill you. Blah blah blah. No, he was just gonna murder.
Right.
And then the only
point. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, and one of the other lines is at last we'll reveal ourselves to the Jedi. At last we will have revenge.
Yeah, and just
that shit is dark.
And like minimalist, evil. No monologuing. If I was ever going to cosplay, it would be Nico Okar. That's what I like Nico Okar.
Yes, I do like.
Yeah.
I like.
Will there be a cantina? Just get a cool hat, get a duster, couple guns, and some nice libations.
I actually have never thought about who my favorite villain is in Star Wars ever.
Your favorite villain?
Yeah, just like my favorite villain.
Oh, my favorite characters are both villains.
Well, right, but like not mine. Mine's R2-D2. It's just that simple. But for me, like I never thought about my favorite villain.
Who are your favorites, Nick? Now I'm intrigued.
So both of mine are both mine are mostly legends, most kind of canon. So my go-to answer traditionally is Darth Bane, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not familiar, Sith through initiated the Rule of Two, and I really like his story in the books. Is a book trilogy that's really, really cool. And I was watching a video on it, and that somebody said it's confirmed in Legends that Darth Bane did successfully do the essence transfer into his apprentice Xana, and is all of the Sith up through Palpatine.
He was the one who would talk like this. I was wondering which would break first, your body or your soul.
I was born in the darkness. You merely adapted it. No, that was wrong Bane.
Yeah,
but anyways, that's a really cool character. His story is cool, and I just think that like him being all of the Sith accumulated, including Palpatine, is pretty awesome.
That is, I love that idea, actually.
Yeah. My other answer is also from the trilogy of books that I read, and he's got more books now, but I like Grand Admiral Thrawn a lot.
Yeah.
Good, very cool
good
character.
Complex character, good, not non-traditional, very cerebral character, and that makes him interesting.
Yeah. It's a very interesting character.
It's so funny because Nick and I are so we're a lot alike, but we're also completely opposite.
Yeah.
Where my character is R2D2 because he's always there for his people. He doesn't
Mhm.
need the Force. He doesn't need anything. He doesn't even need to talk. He's just got everybody's back, and he always wants to help. No questions asked. You need something, he's there.
He swears like a sailor constantly, which is hilarious.
Yes.
Yes.
But it's so funny because we both love it, and our views are very different.
Yeah.
And separate. But I never thought about who my favorite villain would be.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think I gravitate towards Bane for a couple reasons, probably because one, obviously it's really cool he's all the Sith, right? But like even in the books, he's got complicated stories where like he's got nothing. He has that like coming up as an orphan kind of story, right? And then also has like reaches lots of power. He dominates all the Sith, and then like gets the Orbalisks that are these weird crab like creatures that like make armor on him, but like they're parasitic too. And he grows through that too and realizes, okay, yes, I have all this dark side power, but these are also controlling me, and like grows out of that too, and has some
That is very interesting.
growing pains and has to like kill all the Orbalisks and be less powerful to then later be more powerful.
It's an
So
arc. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got some like nice story arcs that I'm a big story arc person. I want to see character growth and have
Mhm.
characters be
Yeah, I do
dynamic.
too.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
What are your goals individually? What are your goals moving forward? And what for your podcast, what are your goals? Like almost together and individual goals.
I feel like we've talked about the goals already for the podcast.
Yeah.
That's true. A lot of
Yeah.
overlap.
Keep it going. I mean, keep it going to get it to the point where if we feel like it, if it becomes not fun, we'll do something else. But like behind the games, the idea is to make it into a thing that just like SWTOR Escape podcast, we
Mhm.
could be doing 10 years from now. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
One thing that we also like, and we talked about a little bit in the beginning in the institution of Behind the Games is as we talk to each of these creators, we also talk to them about the other creators we've talked to. And I would love, and these communities exist, but I would love to sort of be a nexus point between game creators so we could introduce people to other people. We could put together panels of multiple game creators and let them talk to each other and let them talk to the communities. And that I would love to sort of pull in and bring in a community of creators that way. I think that would be a really good future goal for something like Behind the Games. What do you think, Sema?
I totally see it that way too. And yeah, and I also like to see that maybe in the future we become viewed as a platform for people who do want to get their story out there.
Yeah, you're getting
like
into
right
it.
now,
You've got
it's a
new
platform
game.
for if you want to get your story out to 1,000 people. But I mean,
Yeah.
if you want to get it out to the gaming community.
Right. Doesn't
Awesome.
Doesn't go too far just yet, but
But
and it's
it
not even
will.
1,000.
It will.
It's like 100 right now.
Well, still, it's a work in progress. It's how you
Yeah,
grow.
start somewhere.
We're a couple episodes in. And again, I don't expect. I'm looking to see what this is like a couple years from now, and then I'll determine whether it's started. How well we've started 2 years from now.
Right.
2? I was going to say 3 years from now, you're going to say we have a podcast?
Question mark?
How long have we been doing this? We just started this yesterday.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, speaking of starting things and growing communities, tell everyone where they can find you.
Sure. So newoverlords.com has all of the links to YouTube /New Overlords, Facebook /New Overlords. And then it's got the links to the 2 podcasts, which is Behind the Games. And you can find Behind the Games on all of the major directories, and the SWTOR Escape podcast, which we're still continuing to do. And then the business one is Nexavise, Nexavise. And that's sort of the company that is over both of these. And the podcast there is Unevenly Distributed. I still watch. So my name's Jeff.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
It's so
So
weird.
I've
Just
now, because these worlds are clashing and coming together, and because I'm using LinkedIn to reach out to some of these game creators, I'm going by my real name, which I have good friends that I've known for a decade that only know me as Max.
Yes.
Right.
So yeah, you can still follow me as Max the Gray in a bunch of places, but you can also follow me as Jeff Vilimek, Vilimek. That's my name. So I'm on LinkedIn there and Twitter and a couple other places. But yeah, just go to the website. Just go to New Overlords. You'll get to everything or Nexavize. You'll find us. And Sema,
Awesome.
Sema's ethereal.
Yeah. I mean, definitely go to New Overlords. But if you're looking for me,
we've got our new Discord. That's where you can get to
yes,
to
I was
Sema.
gonna say if you're looking for
Yeah.
me specifically, Discord will always work.
Yeah, we've got
Our
the
new
New
Discord
Overlords
and
Discord
also the
now,
AIE Discord.
and the AIE Discord. That's the first place we're always found, both of us. The AIE Discord and New Overlords Discord. Fun.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on the show, you guys.
Oh, thanks for having us. It's really been fun.
Yeah, always fun to chat with you guys. So thank you very much.
What are you guys talking about in here?
Find out next episode of Working Class Nerds.